we just got done. Thank you for watching. My name is Candace Adele Clark. I'm descendant from Wales. Great Stone Parker, my mother. If you watched, we just got done filleting the fish, cleaning them up, prepping them, and now we are making good old-fashioned smoked salmon. And that's open for, there's so many recipes out there. Find one for you. This one for me is 1:1:1 ratio. 1 part brown sugar, 1 part salt, and 1 part water. Equal parts. If you want to create, and to me this is more of a marinade versus a flash brine or brine. I use Morton's. All right, so canning and pickling salt. If you don't have that, just do your best not to use iodized salt. I'm not a big fan. It does change and alter it. It's science. But go for the pickling salt. I use dark, but if you run out of dark, you can use light. And if you like it dark, then just grab some molasses, pour some molasses in there. You'll be okay, just to darken it up. All right, so many ways to make smoked salmon strips. Do you? Fast and easy, less steps that you can take away. I make sure that I'm at the tail and I'll cut and I make my strips. Looking something like this. I make sure that this goes all the way up and enough for it to hang. You want just enough for that skin to hang, okay? I usually cut my bellies. If you feel like that's too big, you're more than welcome to do a slit. I was telling you earlier that you can cut your bellies so that it can get in there and dry out. This is the best part, the nice oily part. When you do clean, make sure you clean that poop chute. Get that stuff out of there. Clean that area up pretty good. I'm gonna do one side just like that and one side like this. And then you stick it in your brine or your marinade and repeat the process. I just go down and I cut the size that I want. Or my finger, I figure out where I want it. I'm gonna go here. There you go. And I'm doing about 1/4 of an inch. And then the second. There you go. And I usually check. I might need a little. That way it can hang. Make sure that you cut that piece there. And it goes in the brine.
And at the top, you don't cut all the way through, right?
I do not cut all the way through. Right now on that first, when I get ready to make my strip, I just cut the meat. I don't cut the skin. So I'll cut this. Then I measure about 2 inches because I'd rather have like this with my hand, my fingers. I take the tip and then I cut it. And then I can always cut to where I feel like it's gonna be. A good, usually 1.5 inches is best, especially with the heavier ones. And you wanna make sure that your skin, and I'll show you that, like I said, 1/4 inch, get to your through. And it should look just like this. You want to make sure that you have just enough skin to hold it. And the heavier pieces, I find that hanging just this much on the edge, and you just want to make sure you cut the meat as close as you can to the skin to give that a break. Okay? Stick it in your brine and repeat. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I usually get about 5 strips off of a good medium size. Ooh, I can probably cut those bones out. Got lucky there. And get a lot of questions making strips. What do I do with that one piece that doesn't make a full strip? Don't sweat. want to make sure you have enough here. It's going to hang. You got to be careful that this piece isn't too thin because it will fall off. So, and again, that was a little thick, but that's all right. And after I'm done brining, I'll probably pluck these out. But for right now, I'm going to leave those in there. Come up here, you still split it. You do your best to find the middle point of this particular cut. It just means that's going to be in there the smoker a little bit longer. It's going to take a little bit longer to dry. Cut it down the middle. Cut your meat first. After you cut your meat, separate it, and then cut your skin. And when you get up there, or like you want enough skin for both parts of the fillet or the strip that they're not going to get. So you just cut, and it's okay for it to be like this. And is that thick? Sure is. Don't worry about it. And if you are worried about it and you want it to dry, you can cut it. There's so many different ways you can do it, but you can cut it and give it a little strip like this to make sure it dries. So if you feel uncomfortable with the size of it, this is one method that I use. And that way each piece gets a chance to dry in between and still makes strips. All right. When it sits in too long, it kind of gets mushy, but it'll firm up. You end up with a strip like this. All you gotta do is go down to the middle, cut it like so, down to the skin, and you can do it like this. Topic in my time of processing, you know, I've received criticism, critiques, and this is how my family does it. This is how I do it. And I think it's great. We can talk about many ways, and you know, what you do for your family and you eat it, then that's your way. That's the way that works for your family. It doesn't make it the wrong way. It just makes another way to do it, okay? So if you like your fish salty, then make it salty. If you like yours thin, then do yours thin. You like to pull your bones off, pull your bones off. But remember, just do you. And there's always going to be somebody with something to say that might be negative or discouraging. And I say that, you know, just remember that you're practicing and you're learning, and just take it as best as you can with a grain of salt, and just thank them for their insight and their opinion and the knowledge that they're sharing, and praise them for showing up to share with you a simple way. Because sometimes if we just slow down, we might have more in common, and they may just need encouragement too, and they may be struggling. Just bless them with an appreciation to how they decided to show up. They want to show up, just be happy. All right, we're coming to the end here. Some of them kind of stuck in the water a little bit. Say, they don't like the way I do it. I usually say, good, more for me, to share it. Which is funny, because over the years I still get requests. And my late mom loved what I put away. And she would call me up and say, daughter, sure need some more smoked salmon. I'm all out. I said, okay, Mom, I'll come bring you some. And my mom, she's so cute. She's always been an encouragement. I've been one of those real bossy daughters that really want to learn how to do things, and she does her best to be as patient with me. And when I started learning how to make smoked salmon, man, did I make them salty? Sure did. But she would say, that's okay, we'll do this with it. And that's okay, now you know. So I love how my mom would show up as I learned. And she even said that, just take a potato, babe, float it and flash brine it. Don't reinvent the wheel. She didn't say reinvent the wheel, but so I've done the potato float technique with my mom. So, all right, this is what I was telling you. Clean this up. Nobody wants to eat fish poop whole. All right. Still slimy. And of course, I can move my ulu because I have muscle memory and I know what I'm doing. You know, you're gonna feel like you're all thumbs when you're cutting. Just thinking about my muscle memory and what I know. Teaching somebody and then watching them learn, the coordination is not going to be the same as what you see here, because I know how much pressure to apply on my ulu. I know how I want my strips to look. I've learned through processing even that technique, and once you learn, you're gonna say, oh, that looks easy. Okay, it looks easy, and then reality sets in, and then you're like, it's kind of like riding a bike. You know that pedal to pedal, and you watch somebody pedal it that's been practicing, and you're like, oh, I could do that. You get on there, and you're like, oh, okay. Now you have to work through those, you know, balance, and same thing applies to anything that you do new. Find your technique, learn your, you know, how to use whatever form of cutting you want to use. When I say cutting, I meant knife, glue. And don't go fast. Know where your hand is. Safety. I've cut my hand on a glue so many times because one, it's too dull and I'm pushing when I sharpen it. So yeah, it's not going to be perfect the first time. Until you do it over and over, and you keep doing it until it becomes normal to you. Mom loved our jarred salmon. So this last
Yep, this is the end of it.
end of this strips. And I'll show you how I process my strips to the smokehouse. I moved down to Kenai, and talk about reset. Huge reset and a little setback, and really working through the best way to pick up where we were in Anchorage. And having a smokehouse was like it's like having lungs to me. You have to have an outhouse now, right? You have to have a smokehouse because, you know, I fish. I'm a fisher. I love to fish and put away fish. So when we got here, I came up with so many different ways. I bought myself a Master Chief. No, thank you. Totally different technique. I don't know how we smoked our fish. Actually, thinking back, how did we smoke our fish?
I think it was only one season, and then that's when you found.
Oh, I was gonna build one. So
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, we did one season without, and that's when I looked at you. I was like, I'm building one. That's it. I went and looked up how to build a smokehouse, and you know, I'm looking at the material, the time spent, and I happened to look on the marketplace, and this guy had this beautiful smokehouse. I'm like, oh, that has everything I need. The dowels, the infrastructure, the screens. It was a smokehouse that was custom built for him. And he was asking a fair market value, in my opinion, for it. And I didn't even bother to skip a beat on his price, because when I looked into what it was going to cost me to build what he was selling at the price he was selling it, I was like, oh, I'm good. He had the Bradley brick feeder plugged into the side. It was aluminum on the side, a little bit of the, not aluminum, but metal flooring, steel flooring. Had all the screens and doors that can remove on 3 sides, a thermometer, and I'll show you. I'm like, oh yeah, called him up and I said, is your smokehouse still available? And he said, it sure is. I said, perfect, can I come take a look at it? I'm interested. And when I went to go look at it, I said, okay, perfect, I'll buy it at what he was asking. Yeah, so we have had that smoker since 2018. That's what we use now. And it comes in handy. And then last summer, somebody else that's been down here that enjoys putting away fish, we had some wood left, trees that fell over. And I like to say, you know, you're native or you've been from the village when you like to up resources that are available to you. Even though I have the means to go to the store, you know, you're in the village, you're going to use whatever resources you have. So I have a bunch of fallen trees, and those that know, when you go dip netting, people go and they put up those little pop-up tents, and mine have fall victim to the wind, and they bend and they break and they do all the things, but the tarp is still good. It's just the frame is not good. And so I have taken some trees that have fallen on our property, debarked them, and created a place for us to dry fish. And it's still in the works. We haven't finished it up, but we hit that last late summer and went right into fish processing, and we used it to smoke fish in big batches, which I still need to work on the infrastructure for those big batches. Anyway, so I've repurposed and reused the tents that get dumped off because the frame, some parts of the frame work really good. And I'll use those fabrics to put up on top as a roof, and I can show you later. It's not perfect, but it's functional, and I like function, right? I don't need pretty. I'm looking at ways to help improve our processing. The nice thing about it is, even if we don't use it for smokehouse, it's good for dry fish rack, because we put the netting that comes with those tents, and it fits just right around there. Great place to go. Keeps those Nuevuks away, keeps the birds away, some of the wildlife. And I'm sure if a bear went through there, there would be feasting away. But perfect. So that's what we have. It is not quite done, but it's fun. Usually we process outside, but I don't feel like putting together the mosquito net, table. So just as convenient. We just have 6 fish today to process. When we have our big haul, we're definitely outside, and we have an assembly going. And we use repurposed, you can hear this quite a bit from me, but repurposed stainless frames. They're just what you use when you go to industrial kitchen or commercial kitchen. Have an oven that sits on top of it, and it's that metal frame that I have. I'm gonna keep it just like this. I'm not gonna worry about it, and I'm gonna do this. A little dry fish smoke strip. Again, I don't want to cut that one because it's already questionable, because that might fall as it is. All right, there's the brine. And you can brine this. You're really looking, you can see the ones that have been in there, just freshly put in there, but when you get that nice golden, you can brine it. This is not a very salty brine. This is not a flash brine. So it gives me enough time for it to sit. It's not too salty. So it doesn't hurt for it to sit in there for at least 20 to 30 minutes. If you're really brave and you know your fish isn't wormy, you can grab a piece here, cut it off, and taste it to see if it's salty enough for you. So if it is too salty and you don't like it, then you just put it in, you can do like a sugar bath or just plain water and rinse it off a little bit. So there you go. what we call Alaska Gold.